What's up, tech gang? Stefan here from TechRight. Today I'm going to be doing the 1 year later review of the ZTE Blade ZMax from Metro PCS. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so this is a video that I've actually been wanting to do for quite some time now, but we just pulled up on a year for the ZTE Blade ZMax of the release, and I just really enjoyed this phone, and I really enjoy talking about this phone. As you guys know, I made tons and tons of videos on this phone. Now obviously you guys know one of the big phones, one of the big releases for Metro PCS and for ZTE was the ZTE ZMax Pro, as you guys know from back when. And when that device launched, that was like a huge step in the right direction for budget phones and for specifications, you know, going further on budget phones. And the Blade ZMax did deliver the same thing the year after the ZMax Pro. And honestly, I just have to give a huge thank you to ZTE and Z community in general for taking me out to all of these places, like going to New York to the Axon M event, you know, going to Texas, going to CES, just getting to experience a ton of things just because my love of a device. And if you guys aren't a part of the Z community right now, we need to get that popping again. So I will be leaving a link in the description down below, and you guys have to go ahead and make an account on the zcommunity.com. I'll have it in the first link in the description down below. If you guys can go ahead and make an account, that'd be absolutely awesome. I'm going to be on there posting videos and stuff like that and posting little comments or whatever, so definitely go on there. Alright guys, let's start off this review. Now first and foremost, we're going to be taking a look at the specifications of this phone. And first off, we have the 4G LTE enabled phone. Obviously we have Android. Now the Android that we have inside of here is Android 7.1.1. Now we have the 6-inch full HD display with 2.5D arc glass. Next we have the 16 megapixel plus 2 megapixel rear camera with the autofocus and LED flash. Now this excited a ton of people back a year ago when this phone came out, because we got the bokeh effect, we got the monocolor mode, we got the portrait mode that we were using, and everybody absolutely loved this because this was such a cheap and affordable device for people, and you were getting so many features on this device. It was just awesome, honestly. Next we had that 8 megapixel front facing camera. We have 32 gigabytes of ROM and 2 gigabytes of RAM inside this device. And we had that 1.4 gigahertz octa-core processor. Next, talking about the hardware on this device. Now, everyone who got this device knew that this looked premium. It just screamed premium, honestly. And if you guys are an actual owner of this device, you would know that it's made out of some not so premium materials. But the great thing about this phone is you weren't ashamed to walk around with it, even though it was $99. You know, some people, you know, have that idea in their head that they need the, you know, the best device out there. And really this just showed you that, you know, you can ball on a budget. Now on the back we have the rear facing dual camera. As you guys know, we got to use things like portrait mode, monocolor, bokeh effect using that camera. And there was a huge controversy going around with the camera about how the dual rear facing camera was fake, which I still don't agree with. I'm pretty sure it's real, but nonetheless it still worked, and it actually worked pretty good for the price. I mean, $99 guys. Like, even if you guys pick this device up right now, like maybe on Swappa or eBay, you know, it's gonna be around that $99 price mark, and you really can't do any better than that. You know, we have that LED flash on the back as well as a fingerprint sensor, and we have ZTE right there. Very minimalistic vibes right here. And one of the things I wanted to point out was, you know, the material that they used right here was kind of like a honeycomb texture. I really enjoyed this. You know, you wouldn't really get this dirty at all. If you guys know, the new phones that they're coming out with, the the LG Q7 Plus, the LG Stylo 4, you know, they need to learn from ZTE. Like, this honeycomb texture is awesome. This right here, this little plastic back that tries to look like glass, I don't like it at all. And if you guys see, I have thousands of little scratches on here, and that's not good when you want to look at your phone. You want to look at your phone and say, hey, you know, my budget phone looks sexy. You know, it's $99, but hey, it looks sexy. And that's what the ZTE Blade ZMax did. It looked absolutely stunning to the eye, even though it was such a cheap device. Now coming to the front of your device, one of the things I actually want to lose if we ever get another ZTE device is the capacitive buttons. I really don't like capacitive buttons, but hey, you know, I lived with them on this device, and I actually, you know, come to love them after the after the year that I used this device, but I accepted them, you know, just like everybody else did. But capacitive touch buttons can go if we get another ZTE device, maybe in 2019. Next thing we have up here is the headset. Nothing wrong with that. We also have our front-facing 8-megapixel camera right there. Now, another thing that's very, very minuscule to some people, but honestly to me, I am so anal about this. I love when buttons are spaced. That's number one for me. And I love when the power button is textured, because when you're in the dark, you want to know which one's the power and which one is the volume up and down button. So I really, really love that they did both of these, so you get, you know, the best of both worlds. You get a spaced volume up and down button, and you get a textured power button. So they really, really listened, you know, to the consumers, and they really, really paid attention to this phone. Take a look at the top of the device. We have one noise canceling mic sitting all by itself. Another thing that I really loved about this device is we actually had Type-C on a $99 phone, which is really, really awesome. As you guys know, if you're in the dark and you're plugging in your phone, it's just hard to plug it in when you have micro USB, and a lot of the time you actually mess up your micro USB cable and get stuck in there. It's just not good. But this one, backwards compatible, Type-C, fast charging, like, you just get it all, honestly. We also have our noise canceling mic, and we kept our 3.5mm head jack. Also, left side of the device, if you guys remember, we had that SIM tray right here. I don't know why I'm saying if you guys remember, because I know some of you guys in the comments are rocking this device. I know you guys are still rocking it, rocking with ZTE. But as you guys see right here, we have our SIM tray that we can go ahead and eject. And this whole frame, I just want to say again, when the phone came out, you know, obviously this is a little bit beat up, but when the phone did come out, the frame of this phone just looked beautiful. It looked like an aluminum frame, looked super premium, and honestly loved the look of this entire phone. Alright guys, finally getting into this phone. As you guys can see, we got that huge display that actually got pretty bright, as you guys can see right here. The angles, the viewing angles on this phone were absolutely perfect. There were no bad viewing angles on this phone at all. And as you guys know, at a $99 price tag, back then it was actually a little bit harder to find a phone with great viewing angles, and this one actually checked that box. Now, if you guys have ever used this device, you would know that this is one of the best media consumption devices, just because of the huge screen, and we can watch videos up to 1080p at 60 frames per second. So, you know, the media consumption on this device is just amazing. I've had no problems with this for the whole year that I've actually had this device. Netflix, YouTube, and all of the videos that I have watched on this device were honestly a joy to watch, just because of this huge screen. Now, obviously, we don't get that 18:9 aspect ratio that we have in 2018 now, but, you know, that 16:9 aspect ratio that was actually wide was very, very enjoyable to watch on this screen, and I honestly love ZTE for that. They just made a huge phone, and I believe most of the people, and I can probably vouch for most of the people in the comments, bigger is better when it comes to media consumption. Now, when it comes to the speaker is on the back of the device, so it's not the best placement for the speaker, but most of the time, I would say 99.9% of the time, I actually used headphones. But I would still say the speaker is actually better than some of the budget phone speakers that I use today, such as the, you know, the LG Stylo 4 that has a very, very mediocre speaker. This one actually still gets a little louder. Now, it is a bit tinny, but it is much louder than the LG Stylo 4. But I really, really love this device. Just popping my headphones in and watching a good old video. Now, next thing that I actually want to go ahead and talk about is the camera on this device. Camera was one of the best at the time for the price of this phone. One of the nicest cameras I've ever used at a $99 price tag. And this is, I don't know, what it did back then was pretty magical for the people who really couldn't afford to get a cheap phone that has a really, really decent camera. Now, one of my favorite modes on this device was the bokeh effect. As you guys know, I posted posted tons of pictures on my Instagram. If you guys haven't followed me on Instagram, it's at tech.right. But I remember back when I loved the bokeh effect, portrait effect, and monocolor. Gonna throw in some samples of that right now. But I love knowing that I paid $99 for this phone and I still get, you know, the satisfaction of using these features such as monocolor, bokeh, and portrait effect on this device, and actually having half decent photos coming out. And yeah, now obviously video is not going to be the best on this phone. It does shoot in 1080p 30 frames per second, but you can pretty much compare it to any other camera in 2018, such as the Stylo 4 or the Alcatel 7. It's pretty much going to shoot the exact same. One of the other really cool features that we got in here was panorama, and really used that feature a lot, honestly. I saw a lot of people using this feature as well as time-lapse, multi-exposure, manual, and I really like that we actually got these features in here at such a low price, and honestly didn't know how they did it. But I really liked that we had the features and they paid attention to the people that are actually on a budget. Now, the next thing I actually want to go ahead and test out on this phone is PUBG, a very graphic intensive game, and I just wanted to show you that, you know, some of these graphic intensive games can still be played on the ZTE Blade ZMax just fine, and sometimes even with some other games you can have a really fast and fluid experience with them. But I'm gonna go ahead and try PUBG really quick on the Blade ZMax and show you how it runs. Alright guys, so just one thing I have to explain to you really quick. It is going to preset the lowest graphics setting possible on here, so the graphics are on low. And yeah, let's go ahead and try to get a couple kills on this game. Maybe go ahead and pick up a gun or two. So as you guys see, this is actually running very decent so far for the Blade ZMax. Honestly, really surprising so far. We can go ahead and aim in. Doesn't look like we get too many drop frames when we're running. We might get an occasional one, but so far pretty fast and fluid, and it's really surprising me so far. Obviously, you guys know the LG Stylo 4 can play this game as well, and it looks like we're getting the same type of fluidity that we do get on the Stylo 4. Now, both these devices actually do have a Snapdragon 400 series, the LG Stylo 4 being Snapdragon 450, and this device being Snapdragon 435. We also have to take into account that both these devices do have 2 GB of RAM, and if we're really talking about a gaming phone on a budget, I would still say the Blade ZMax, because we actually have that Snapdragon 435 that is going to accommodate for the battery. And I have to tell you some about the battery. The battery is amazing on this device. One of the best batteries ever. I even gave this to my brother, and he's been using it for the last few months, and he said, bro, this battery is amazing. So, you know, I really love the battery on this, and you know, the fast charging feature just adds, you know, even more awesomeness to this device. Alright guys, looks like we ran to our first enemy right here and got a kill right there. Easy as that. We can go ahead and check his stuff, but very accurate. It doesn't glitch when I shoot actually, which is very surprising because I do see some glitching on other devices. Got another kill right here. Boom, another kill right there, guys. So as you guys see, very playable game on the Blade ZMax. Alright guys, last thing I wanted to talk about was the battery on this device. One of the best batteries on a budget phone, honestly, to date. Using this battery has been awesome. Obviously, I said we had fast charge on this, so we do have fast charge capabilities. Charges pretty quickly, and this lasts the whole day on moderate use. So one of the best batteries on a budget phone and all. So is the Blade ZMax worth it in 2018? I would have to say yes, definitely a great phone in 2018. If you guys want to go ahead and pick this up, pretty sure it's on eBay, Amazon, anywhere you guys can go ahead and get it. Definitely go ahead and pick it up if you want a device that is a media consumption beast and has a really good battery, because one, it has a really good battery, and two, You know, the device is just a media consumption beast due to the huge screen. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like down below, as well as subscribing if you guys are not part of the Tech Gang already. Also hit the notification bell if you guys want to be notified on every video I do upload. This has been Zafran from TechRight. Peace out, Tech Gang.